Hey guys, it's Leo, and it's time to talk about one of the most epic episodes in Precure history. And obviously, I'm talking about episode 37 of HUGTTO PRECURE. I am still in awe after everything I saw, and it's really hard to put into words what I'm feeling right now because this is probably one of the most intense feelings I've ever had watching anything in my whole life, because this episode embodied basically everything I love about Precure and everything I love about magical girls and anime. I don't know. I just felt embraced, and I really felt like this episode respected and glorified the history of Precure. So anyway, let's talk about the episode itself. The episode started right where the other one stopped, and we saw the two teams fighting. We didn't have all the cures, but we saw the two teams fighting, and the fights were nice. That's the first thing. The fights were nice, and the fights, they were well choreographed. The animation was not really the best, but it was way better than in last episode, and it was very nicely choreographed, and we had very nice moments. We even had Macaron Julien from Cure Macaron, and I was so happy. And we had the girls were fighting, and the two teams were fighting separately, and it was really nice seeing all of them using their powers in different ways. I really liked that. And at the end, we even saw Chiffon using her powers a little bit, because everything so far has been revolving around HUGTTO, and it makes sense because it's HUGTTO's season. But it was really nice seeing Chiffon using her powers for once and teleporting the girls all together. But unfortunately, the girls were not able to defeat Dr. Trauma, and he was able to use his powers once again to restore himself. But Cure Amour had a trick up her sleeve, and she knew exactly what to do to stop his powers. And that's something that really ties to the plot of this episode that's related to HUGTTO itself, not really to the All-Stars celebration. And that's basically the only thing that actually added to the HUGTTO plot. And, well, that's a good thing, but the best thing about this episode was the All-Stars celebration, the All-Stars festival, carnival, whatever you want to call it. And so Cure Amour was able to use the HUGTTO power to stop him from going back time, reversing time, and healing himself. But that wasn't enough, so that that was not enough. He was able to use his powers to transform the Asu power into Toge power. So he got a lot of Toge power. And using all of that, he was able to become stronger. But then we had a very big surprise, which was Cure Black, Cure White, and Shiny Luminous. Our original trio appeared. They are super strong as always, and I was so happy. And I almost cried when they appeared for the first time, because it was so beautiful, seeing them attack and seeing them save the girls. And Shiny Luminous using Heartail action again, and I was happy for that. I was really happy for that, because Shiny Luminous, she doesn't really do anything in the All-Stars movies. She's always a background character. She doesn't really help the girls a lot, and then we were able to see her in a moment. She had a voice, she talked with the girls. That was 10/10 for me. So yeah, so we had this little moment from Futariwa, amazing moment as well. But again, they were not able to defeat Dr. Trom's power again. He became super strong, and he went berserk. Together with that, he was able to unleash a power that trapped the girls inside a dark realm. And they started losing their hope and all of that. And so they started with Hana. And that was a good call for me, because we're talking about HUGTTO, so we need to have a little bit more focus on the HUGTTO girls. And so they started with Hana. Hana started, giving power to herself and then giving power to other people. And so the girls started waking up, and they started becoming powerful again. They started becoming hopeful again. And that's something that I want to go back to later on. And then they started, and they were able to unleash their powers and go out of that dark realm. But when they did, they found themselves cornered and they found themselves around so many monsters. But that didn't really scare them away. And that's something, there's something happened in one of the scenes that really caught my attention, and I was like, oh, I'm happy for this. Which was, when the girls were there in this dark realm and they were able to wake up, when they got back to the world, we had like some pink flashes coming up, and then those flashes started attacking. And well, at that moment, I am not gonna lie, I started crying, because that for me was so strong. And you know, the teams, they started falling and they started attacking. And you know, some of the leaders were able to speak, and they spoke while the team attacked, and it was so beautiful. Oh my God. And when we saw it, we saw all of the teams appearing with all of the cures. I was like, what is going on here? And so when Harry was watching this moment, he looked at HUGTTO and said, wow, is this one of your powers as well? And then Tart from Fresh told him something that was very important, which is, it's not actually only HUGTTO's power, it's the Precure powers, so it's like, let's not just think that HUGTTO did it. All of the girls with their powers, with their willpower, they all brought this moment together. So because the Precure world, the Precures are very, very powerful. So let's not forget about that. And that's what happened. And so when all of the girls appeared and started attacking and started fighting together, I lost myself, because I didn't even know how to react. But I started crying and I started watching, and I was like, I just can't believe it. I really just cannot believe it. And then I saw the girls, fighting, and I completely lost myself, because when I started watching it, I started seeing that the people behind this episode, they really love Precure. And then I started thinking about some All-Stars movies back then. They didn't have this kind of soul that this episode had. And, especially the latest ones that are not that good. And I'm just impressed. I was so impressed, because we had so many moments that I want to talk about. First, we had like beautiful moments with the girls speaking and saying, introducing themselves to one another. And then we had the fight itself. We had a very big, long fight. And we watched all of the teams fighting and interacting. We didn't have many voiceovers. Some of the girls didn't have their voices, and that's totally understandable, because we're talking about more than 50 cures. So how are they going to pay for more than 50 voice actors? When we also had voice actors for some of the mascots as well. Oh, and Meeple and Mapple also appeared when they were in the dark realm. I thought that it was a nice touch. I thought it was a very nice touch, even though they didn't say anything. So when the fight started, I was pleasantly surprised with the fight, because as I said, we had very special moments and, special touches that I didn't even think about. Like, I'm not gonna remember everything, but then we had like, one of the first moments we had was with Cure Gelato, when she started using her ice powers. And when she used it, we saw like lots of blue cures that also use ice powers fighting with her. And then we had like Cure Fortune using her star powers together with other cures that also use stars, like Cure Muse and Cure Twilight. And after that, we saw some of Yellow Girls running, and other yellow cures running that use like not protective, but chain powers, like Lemonade. Oh my God, that moment was so good. We also saw some of the leaders fighting together. We also saw the sports girls also fighting together. We saw the transforming girls fighting together. That was impressive to me, because I didn't think about that, which are the Splash Star girls that they have two different forms, the Mahoutsukai girls that have two different forms, and the Happiness Charge, the main duo from Happiness Charge that also changed forms a lot. And then they started changing forms while they were fighting the monster, and I was like, whoa, I never thought of something like that, you know? And the way they mixed the teams, it was so nice. Another team that I really liked was Cure Whip when she used the power. And then we had Cure Rhythm and Cure Honey, because I think that they all have something comedic about their powers. Cure Honey, she is like a joke character. And then we have Cure Rhythm that uses her power and then she just walks away. I mean, that is also something epic. You know, those things that they thought of, I mean, I would never think of something like that. But my favorite was the Diva Cures. You know, they were just simply walking and the monsters came attacking them and they were just like, you know, that was the best moment of the whole episode for me. We had Macaron, Chocolat, Ace, and Moonlight. I mean, those are the Diva Cures. No one touches the Diva Cures. You know, they just walked. And then after like the last scene was when the whole team, the whole leader team started attacking the monster, and it was really nice. Oh, and we also had the musicians. That was also brilliant. I loved that. And then after all of that fight and after all of that, we had a very special moment with the HUGTTO girls. And so let's talk about it a little bit, because we had like the whole team and we had a moment in which Curiel started doubting it. Like after all we did, we still didn't defeat it. So how are we going to do it? And Cure Black, which is the most experienced Cure, together with Cure White and Shiny Luminous, they said things like, hope is the best thing we can have at this moment, and we can also never give up. We have the power inside of us, so we need to keep on going, we need to keep on fighting, we need to keep on building it, we need to keep on believing it, and we need to keep on going. That's simply what we have to do. We're here to fight, we're here to keep on going. And sometimes I think about it, and it's so applicable in our life. It's so applicable in everything. We're living those days, especially here in Brazil. It's so believable to me. And I got really emotional at the moment as well. And then because of the girls' words, together with all of the teams, they were able to find a new power inside of them, which is the All For You power with a new item, the Mirai Brace. At that moment, we also saw lots of side characters appearing to give their powers to the Cures. And look, I think that they remembered so many great characters from the franchise. I was really, really impressed, especially with Cure Echo. Cure Echo appearing at the moment was very special. We had Royal Candy, we had Cure Mofurun and Cure Pecorin, we had Cure Tender, we had those two cures from Hawaii, from Happiness Charge, don't remember their names. We also had lots of characters from Fresh, like Solar and Wester. We had Muse's grandfather, I don't remember his name. We had Regina, we had Yui, we had Kocho from Hotsukai. We had so many nice side characters appearing at that moment. And oh my god, I was so impressed. And I think that this episode means that we're getting into a close of this generation of Precure, those 15 years. I think that next year they want to start anew, especially because in Japan, it's a new era. And so I feel like this is something that really needs to be stressed. And I think that if it's the end of this Precure generation, it's ending with a blast. It's ending with such power, because it was such a good ending. It was such a good episode. And this is probably one of like the top 3 Precure episodes, if not the best Precure episode ever. Oh, and there was Lulu's background story a little bit, because, you know, Dr. Trump's fighting very hard for time not to pass. And because of that, because of his defeat at the end, he reminded himself of something that happened back then, which was when he created Lulu. And he felt heartwarmed with that moment. So he has feelings, probably fatherly feelings for her. And I think that it was so nice seeing him go back to his humanity a little bit more. And what Lulu told him was so powerful. Lulu told him something like he was very sad because he couldn't go back to that day. And she told him, you cannot go back to that day, but there are always tomorrows. So there are always new possibilities. There are always new stories to be told and to be lived. So let's believe in that a little bit more. I tell that to myself as well. Anyways, guys, that was it. I feel like this episode was brilliant. It was one of the best Precure episodes ever. And I'm so happy with it. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye-bye.